Welcome to KiniTalk. I'm Prasad Michael, and today we'll be speaking to Penang Chief Minister YB Lim Guan Eng. YB, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Prasad.
So before we begin, let's just get straight to it. Is DAP anti-Malay?
Oh no, we are not anti-Malay. Neither are we anti-Chinese, anti-Indians, anti-Iban, anti-Gadazan. Definitely not anti-Malaysian. We are only anti-Barisan Nasional and anti-UMNO, and anti-corruption.
But would you call DAP a Chinese-centric party?
We do not deny the fact that DAP gets its main support from the urban areas, where invariably the majority are non-Malays. But we have always adopted a Malaysian-centric approach. We fight for all Malaysians. Of course, getting support is another different matter. But I feel that we have been making increasing inroads into non-traditional areas of support. And I think if you look at the last two general elections, our support amongst Malay voters have increased. And I think that is a very positive sign. So we are encouraged by that increase, and also even if they do not support us, they are willing to listen, and they are not as hostile as before. So I think that is a step in the right direction.
So this is your response to your opponents who say that DAP is basically an anti-Malay party?
No, we are multiracial. We have always been multiracial in terms of our approach. We have members of parliament and elected representatives from all races. We have Malays, we have Indians, we have Chinese, and now we even have a Kadazan. Can UMNO have that type of record? Can MCA or Gerakan or MIC have that type of record? And yet these are the very people who are racist right through. Yet they accuse us of being racist. It's just like, you know, it's like a thief accusing an innocent man of being a thief.
But speaking about your members, right? How many of a percentage maybe you can give me?
I think you're looking at Malay voters is around 10%.
How about your members itself, DAP members?
150,000.
150,000?
Yes.
But how many of them are Malays?
10%.
10% of them?
Around 10%.
Okay. And when you look at the last election results, especially in the Penang state, DAP hasn't been able to sort of penetrate the Malay majority seats, whereas PKR managed to capture the mixed seats. So how do you plan to sort of move forward and capture that part of
we
Penang?
won all our seats in Penang.
No, yeah, but the basically
we won all our seats. We won all the parliamentary and state seats we contested. So I don't know how we are going to increase our.
But how do you take the seats won by UMNO?
No, but we have won our seats we contested, and PKR has won an additional seat from UMNO.
Yeah.
So unless we contest more seats, there's really no more room for expansion. So we have actually, you know, got a full house, so to say. What we are trying to do is to help PKR and PAS win more seats, and we have succeeded in winning an additional seat from UMNO. So UMNO has 10 seats compared to 11 previously. So I don't think it's correct to say that we are not being able to make inroads into Malay areas when we have won all our seats. And with our existing seats that we won, we have won with greater majorities. And you cannot win with greater majorities without winning more Malay votes. In the last elections, some say there were actually two seats where you can see markedly increased votes or markedly increased support amongst Malays towards PR. One of the states is Kelantan, the other is Penang. And that is translated by the fact that we won an additional seat from UMNO. So I think we are making progress there. But we do not want to limit ourselves only to Penang, or we do not want to be in a complacent mode that things are honky-dory, things are okay.
Yeah.
We have to admit that we have still not been able to get a significant segment of Malay support, which we are working very hard on. But as I said, we are very encouraged by the support that we have obtained in Penang. You know, they practically threw the whole kitchen sink at us. It's easy to target me because I'm a non-Malay, I'm a non-Muslim. So they have been targeting me relentlessly with lies, with falsehoods. I'm anti-Malay and anti-Islam, despite the facts contradicting these lies. But most importantly, Prasad, is that the people did not fall for it. The Malays did not believe it. That's why they voted more strongly for Pakatan.
But
So even though they threw practically everything at me, yet they lost one seat. Yet the popular support fell. You know, we got 68% of the popular vote, which is the highest in history for any government in Penang.
So for DAP, you're not interested in contesting more seats in Penang?
No, we would like to, but this is part of the coalition politics. When you are part of coalition politics, you cannot be stealing or taking away from your partners.
Yeah, but some of them can say that DAP is scared to contest in Malay majority seats, so you're pushing it to speaker and pass.
If we are given seats to contest, additional seats to contest, why not? But are we going to take the seats away from our allies? No. And I don't think it is fair to do so. So what we are doing now is to help our allies to win their seats, and I think we succeeded in gaining an additional seat.
Okay, and also talking about the seats that you've contested in, what is your strategy for the next election? How do you boost Malay support in the seats that you're contesting in?
By delivery. I think you have to deliver. You have to perform. That you can bring change, positive difference in the lives of the people. And they are very basic issues. Economic livelihood. Whether they have a cleaner, greener, healthier and safer environment. I think these may sound very simple, but they're very important to ordinary people. I think we have to deliver. And we have a vision for Penang, transforming Penang to be an intelligent and an international city. I think we're making good progress there, so that we keep on moving up the next level.
But basically, DAP has been in Penang this is your second term, right? So how do you translate what you're saying into votes for the next election? Because you've already had that opportunity. So how do you keep pushing?
But progress is continuing. You cannot stand still. Once you stand still, you not only stagnate, you reverse and die. You regress and die. So you have to make progress. And as long as people see they make progress. For example, when we talk about fighting corruption, people must see the benefit from fighting corruption. And what we have done is that we give them what we describe as anti-corruption dividends, whether in form of cash aid for the senior citizens, for students, for single mothers, for all mothers, for those who have children. So these are the benefits that they receive as a result of our fight against corruption, an anti-corruption dividend, which they never got in the past. So you must get them involved. You must get them engaged. And I think that when you let them see the benefits of fighting corruption, for instance, you get them involved, people would support and they want a government with integrity. You talk about good delivery, then you must have a competent administration, which of course requires good officers. That's why we talk about CAT governance: competency, accountability and transparency. So the people must not only see the change, they must feel it and they must also touch it. So change is not something that you just talk only. You must walk the talk.
So maybe you can share with some of the things you're doing particularly for the Malay community, right? How do you target them? Are there any specific programs going on?
I think one of the programs that we are carrying out is wiping out poverty. We have a poverty eradication program. We are proud that Penang is the first state in Malaysia to abolish poverty. And what we have done is to ensure that every family has a household income above the poverty line. Now the poverty line, according to the federal government figures, is at 790 ringgit per month for each household.
Okay.
So we ensure that every household gets at least 790 or above. Those households which fall short, we'll top it up. So let's say for instance you get around 700, we'll give you 90 ringgit every month. Or if you get 500, we'll give you 290 ringgit every month. So we ensure at least on some minimum level you are above the poverty line. And then we try to follow through by giving job opportunities. And I think Penang is one state there where you have minimal unemployment. In fact, we have a shortage of workers. We can take in 20,000 more workers anytime. we have, you know, there are these vacancies, 20,000 vacancies available. It's not a problem. So we hope through that they can break that vicious cycle of poverty.
So you think this would help gain support from the community?
This will help. This will help because when you talk about programs, it should be directed at everyone. For example, when you talk about wiping out poverty, you're dealing with not only the Malay poor, but also the Indian poor and the Chinese poor. But we do not deny the fact that the majority of the poor are Malays. So they will still be the biggest beneficiary. Another instance, when you talk about, for example, the Golden Child Program, if you have a child, you'll be given 200 ringgit. Now, you look at the birth rates, the highest birth rate are from the Malays. So they are, again, the biggest beneficiaries. But we give to everyone. We don't discriminate because we are all Malaysians.
Also, going back to a bit about you, if this is your second term, people say that you're starting to get a little arrogant. How do you...
This is, of course, the propaganda, false propaganda by Barisan Nasional. They started by saying we are anti-Islam, anti-Malay, and when that doesn't work, they say now that I'm arrogant. In what way am I arrogant? I mean, how differently have I done things compared to the first term? I don't think they can show concrete or logical examples.
Also, you're somehow known as the Tokong as well. How do you take these things? How do you...
what?
Tokong.
That again is a attack by the opposition. When I talk opposition, I mean Barisan Nasional.
Barisan Nasional.
No, they've run out of issues that they have to launch personal attacks. Right? They hope that will impact on my integrity. But I declare my assets just like all my government legislators, whether assemblymen or EXCO members, we declare our assets. And we also forbid or prohibit family members from being involved in government business. They can't do any business with the government. And we have open competitive tenders. We have full disclosure of contracts. So isn't that a very important institutional building measure to ensure and establish integrity? So because they are unable to attack the state government on policy, they decided to make personal attacks. I think the people can discern and differentiate whether that is justified or not.
Also, Selangor Menteri Besar Abdul Khalid Ibrahim has indicated that he's only interested to head the state for 2 terms, and both of you are now in your second term. So, do you have thoughts of retiring?
Well, I just want to, as I said, do my work. Make sure that our policies are implemented. And I think as far as those questions of how long I will be, I think that will be determined later. I think it's still at early stage.
So you still feel like there's a lot to do in Penang?
Oh, there are tons to do in Penang. No, we have been in a graceful decline for the last 18 years before we took over in 2008. You can't just reverse 18 years of neglect and decline in 5 years. I think you need at least 10 years. And the most important thing is that we are not only reversing the decline, we are building institutions. Because I want that to be our greatest legacy, to build institutions that will allow Penangites to enjoy not only prosperity, peace, but also to live with dignity, even though we are not around. I think that is most important. What's the point of all this being unraveled or reversed once you are not there? Institution building is the most critical, because then this will live on after you.
Also, talking a bit about the national consensus effort by Pakatan Rakyat to get BN to react, right? So, will DAP work with Barisan Nasional, or can they? Can your party?
No, we are willing to work with any organisation or any political party in the national interest, but it must be based on principles, not based on political expediency. It must be based on policies that benefit the people, not on the question of whether you get a certain ministerial post or not. I think that should be the main the main thrust. And of course, whether this helps towards promoting nation building national unity, racial and religious harmony, or it does the complete reverse. I think that will be the criteria that we'll measure when we talk about whether we want to participate in any national reconciliation talks.
So, in principle, DAP can work with national if it's the right cause?
For the common good, why not? Why not?
But how do you see talks right now?
There's none at the moment. There's just only talk only, no talks as such. Just only talk.
So we know that looking at how popular you are among the Chinese community after MCA has lost basically its support, are you willing to sort of become like the de facto MCA replacement if Barisan Nasional allows?
I do not quite agree with your statement to say that I'm very popular. I think there are other leaders who are more popular than me.
No, not you, the DAP as a party among the Chinese community.
Popularity is ephemeral, so don't take it for granted. I think you got to continuously work on it, make sure that you succeed. It's just like, when you do, you go to gym, you got to continuously work on it. Once you give up or once you slack, the fat will come back. So it is a continuous process and it is very tough, but you have to continue working on it and do the right things. As I said, I always believe that you have to do the right things, and not only that, do it right.
But so
when you talk about popularity, it must ensure, or it must be subjected to success in delivering your policies, making the change. No, that's why I say that the BN talks about game changers. I would talk about change makers. For them, game changer is some event that would benefit them. Whereas for me, I'm not interested in game changer as so much as in change makers. Who are the change makers? What are the change makers? Because once you have a change maker, then it would last, then it will endure, and it will benefit your future generation. So we are always looking at creating change makers. That's what Penang is focused on. Because Barisan Nasional has stolen my future. We do not want them to steal our children's future. We must ensure that the future belongs to the people. That's why in Penang we are working very hard to build our young for the future, just as we want to build the future for the young.
So that's interesting. You're saying you're using Penang as an example. You're building Penang
as a model, yes.
As a model for Pakistan to lead, basically, what they can do with Malaysia. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, yes. And in Penang, we have severe disadvantages. We don't have any natural resources. We don't have the necessary funding. What we have is pure human talent. And you must be able to build human talent. You must be able to attract them. You must be able to retain them. Without which, kaput. So the last 6 years has been focused on building human talent, retaining them, and then allowing them to realize their potential, so you can see how we can not only grow wealth, we can also share wealth.
Also, a lot of people say that Penang follows after Singapore more than Malaysia. How do you?
We follow our own model. We don't want to be a Singapore. We are not Singapore. Number one, we are too far behind. Number two, I don't think we want to be like Singapore. There are areas that we admire, especially their fight against corruption, integrity, but I think there are other areas that we think that we can do it according to the Malaysian way. Now, for instance, there are many Singaporeans who come to Penang. Why? Because they like the way we retain our heritage. We maintain our sense of community. I was just having a press conference on the World Women's Squash Championship that Penang is hosting for the first time in Penang. And we are organizing a relay run for the opening ceremony. We targeted 300 people. These are all volunteers. They are not going to get paid. Now we have 4,000 people. Likely to hit 5,000 when the opening ceremony begins. Now, that is the sense of community that we enjoy in Penang. And that is something that we want to strengthen. We want to push forward, because we are basically a people-centric government. We want to let our stakeholders know that this is done for you. We are here for the moment. We want to build institutions that will last. As I mentioned, integrity, open competitive tenders, public declaration of assets, institutions that will last after us, so that your rights are protected, your interests will be promoted, and your future is assured. That is what we are fighting for.
So right now, what would you say would be your greatest achievement as Chief Minister, Penang?
I would say it's my achievement, it's my team effort.
Yeah.
No, I always stress this, that don't have silo mentality. Always have faith in your team. Try to build the best team possible. Because, you know, you may be a Lionel Messi, but without your teammates, you cannot score a single goal. Any 11 players can beat one Lionel Messi. He needs the other 10 players with him. So team work is very important. Without teamwork, again, you will not make any progress. So we must avoid silo mentality. We must have teamwork. And I think most important of all is that there's no such thing as a one-man show. So I would say that if there's any success, it is because of the collective effort put in. If there's any failure, it's because, no, we are only human, we make mistakes. That's why I reject completely that that tokong insult that you know that was placed on me, because I'm human. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes, but the difference is when I make mistakes, and I'm willing to admit and apologize for it because I want to improve.
Like you just said about how you're a team player and it's a team effort, but a lot of your opponents say that you do things on your own, you don't really consult your team, and basically going back to that whole thing that you run the show.
Give me an example. These are all baseless personal attacks. If indeed there is no teamwork, do you think my colleagues would agree to that? Give me an example where there's no teamwork.
So you completely disagree, or
no? You're a leader. Definitely, you have to stand out.
Yeah.
But I am one person who believes in the efficacy and in the effectiveness of having teamwork. There's no such thing as a one-man show anymore. I do not believe in one-man army. I believe in a system. I believe in proper management, and most important of all, I believe in goal setting and getting the right tools for the job. You must not only get the right equipment, you must be equipped to handle the job. As I mentioned just now, not only do the right thing, but do it right.
Okay. And also,
so if you do not realize that, you won't make any progress. And that's why you see that you look at the Penang Civil Service. No, there's still room to improve. But I believe that Penang Civil Service is the best in Malaysia because we choose our civil servants on merit. And mind you, Bagash, they are mostly Malays. And that shows that if you choose the best amongst the Malays, they can also deliver, they can also be excellent.
So it's all about human talent.
No, it's about human talent. Plain and simple. I do not care where they come from. I'm willing to take them on, as long as they follow our strictures on integrity, on competence, and of course, public interest.
And also, going back to a bit of politics, there is a void created by the absence of MCA representing the Chinese community.
When has MCA ever represented the Chinese community? MCA has only represented UMNO. So it doesn't make a difference. I think I say that many times. The Chinese community is not willing to support a so-called Chinese party like MCA. But they're more willing to support Anwar Ibrahim. Because MCA has never fought for the Chinese community. What does the Chinese community want? They want justice, they want fair play, they want to live with dignity. Have they ever fought for that, for these values and principles? No. That's why they're willing to support a Malay, a non-Chinese like Anwar Ibrahim, because he's willing to fight for these principles. Issues that we have been fighting for, principles that we have sacrificed for. What has MCA sacrificed? The only time they went to prison is because they're convicted of CBT and cheating the public's funds. So that is the difference. And the time has come for us to represent all Malaysians. Don't keep on talking about representing the Chinese, representing the Malays. In the end, you represent no one. Represent Malaysians. represent a basic principle that is worth fighting for. I think that is what not only Malaysians want, that is what the future generation wants. No, I believe that when the Malaysians vote, they vote for the future. They vote for the future, not for themselves. What we are fighting for, we are not fighting for our own selves or for our own voters. We are fighting for the unborn. We are fighting for the future generation. Just like your parents. Why do they go out every day, struggle so hard? For themselves? No. For you, for their children, whom they hope will live better than them. And as leaders, we want to do the same thing. We want our future generation to live better than us. That's why we want to bequeath to them a better legacy. Simple things like why in Penang we have implemented the no plastic bag ruling. The only state in Malaysia where you go to the supermarket, you can't get a plastic bag free. You've got to buy them. Because we want to discourage you using plastic bags. Why? It's for the future. We want to protect the environment. Why do we want to protect the environment? Because we only borrow it from our children. It's our responsibility that we return it back, if not in a better condition, at least in the same condition. So we adopt the same approach in every field. Penang is focused on being cleaner, greener, healthier and safer. And even though we are not there yet, but I'm sure if you have been there, you know we have made tremendous progress.
So going a bit about the Kajang election now, how much is DAP supporting the...
No, we are supporting Anwar fully, all the way.
But in terms
There's no reason for us to support MCA, isn't it?
But in terms of like machinery, election machinery, after the nomination date, how big of a support?
All the way.
All the way?
Yes. We'll be there all the way.
And actually, when Anwar actually announced it, you weren't very sure that it happened.
No, I did not know about it. I've said that before. I was not informed. I only knew about it when I read about it in the news alerts. And he admitted that he didn't inform me. He apologized to me later after the announcement was made. But I think we should cut Anwar some slack. He was dealing with internal issues. Just cut him off some slack. And he apologized. So let's move on.
But do you think that would give a wrong impression to the public, thinking that...
It depends on how you want to look at it. If you want to dwell in the past, and he has apologized to me that no, he was caught up with the internal issues at that time, I think we should move on.
Okay. And YB Lim Guan Eng, thank you so much for your time. That's all for now.